So my voice is a little shot today, so if it sounds a little weird in the audio, that should explain why. But that's not going to stop me from talking about Megalobox. What an exhilarating episode. It's continuing on the path that each episode is seemingly getting better and more exciting as the show is going on, which is just amazing. And I really like how they structured this episode. The first major match of the 5 matches that Mr. Nambu was setting up here plays out for most of the episode, and then they kind of flash forward in a montage to show 2 of the other fights, and I really like that because it makes it so the time frame that we have for this anime, which is like 12 or 13 episodes, is one of the 2. It's going to fit. You can definitely tell that, where we're not rushing past the fights, we're still focusing on the core. Like, we need to have enough time for that first fight to really sink in the idea of Gearless Joe. But then, again, we don't need to see all 5 of these fights in full, so it's nice that they kind of flash forward past 2 and 3, and obviously we're going to see Fight 4 in its entirety. And I like that because it allows for the time frame that this anime has to make sense, not feel too fast and not feel too slow all at the same time, and that's just overall the right way to go about an anime with a 1 core time frame. And this episode was completely exhilarating and very frightening all at the same time, because the idea that the stakes just keep getting higher. You're forcing your way in an illegal way to this championship by having a fake ID, you need to win 5 matches against pros and you're a newbie to the arena. That's risky in itself. But then to add in the extra little bit of detail, you're gonna fight without gear. You're gonna make a name for yourself as Gearless Joe. And you know that these suits, they add a lot, not just to the power, the speed, everything about it. Like, if you got hit in the wrong way by someone in these suits, you could easily die. Like, as good as a fighter as Joe is, he's not good enough to survive a death blow. And this episode was actually pretty frightening because Joe actually got scared in this episode, which is something I like because this episode should frighten your main character, and I like they didn't go the route of he was arrogant or he thought he would be the best of the best. I like how subtly the episode shows him scared. You start seeing him kind of shake, but he's just off his game. You don't really know what exactly is going on, and then he gets majorly hit, and it just rattles his mind and also body. Like, that has to hurt. Like, you're pretty much getting hit with a sledgehammer, more or less, with no protection to guard you, on top of being scared for your life and not really understanding like what you need to do. I really like how this match played out because Joe is usually the guy on the offensive. He's really kind of jumping around, dancing around, hitting the people, but he was very much running away in this fight, and for obvious reasons. And I like how the coach dynamic was really played because really, who was going to be his true coach? Was it going to be the new kid Sachio, or is it going to be Pops? Which one of them was going to be the coach? And after this episode, definitely seems like both are going to be the coach because both can see where to go with the direction for the coaching, but also both of them aren't perfect. And I like how it's because of Sachio, the MVP of the episode, snaps in saying like, both of you are not understanding what you need to do here. You're taking this too seriously. You're trying to treat Joe like he knows exactly what he needs to do, and Joe needs to stand up for himself. Like, everything about how Sachio acted in this episode was perfect. Like, this kid is really adding a lot to the cast here, and I like how Joe, when he does snap out of his fear, it's not like it just happens like that. It actually takes time. He actually has to suffer in this fight. He has to basically piss his pants, and I like how when he does come back, that moment when the OST's kicking in and he knocks out a guy in gear, you feel like he earned it. You didn't feel like this was just like he won the match because he was the best of the best. He's the main character, of course, he has to win. It actually made me think this guy could easily lose, and it would make sense. But I like how he does win and how it's because he has 2 coaches that both need to kind of set him on the right path and the training that he did. It's really exhilarating. I love how this doesn't feel like a traditional boxing anime, but at the same time it does. But it's just so unique, refreshing, both visually and audio-wise. But it's the mechanics and the whole idea of having a gearless fighter. Like, I actually hope he does remain gearless this entire season. I think that would be so interesting. And obviously, it would add to the thrill of these matches, but we'll have to see if he's going to remain Gearless Joe after match 5. And, I mean, based on the fact that his opponent seems to be someone that Pops has trained in the past, and he's like ranked 17th or something like that, it's very possible that he might not win all 5 of these matches. And that's something that I think adds to the series, because a lot of times when you watch a sports anime, like, not all, there's plenty that don't follow the tropes of always winning, but so many series always let the main character win. But this is adding to that excitement of you don't truly know, and that's an important aspect because when you watch sports for real, you don't know who's going to win, and that adds to the excitement, the thrill, and this series is doing that 1 for 1. I absolutely adored episode 4. Each episode is seemingly getting better. But even if not every single episode improves on the last, as long as it keeps the core foundation that this series has built in pretty much close to what we've come to expect with these episodes, this series will remain nearly perfect for me. Really, I don't have too much more to say past that, since this was a very much action-oriented episode here, but I really did like how there was so much emotion conveyed from just body language. Joe's voice actor, just all the voice actors, just the animation. Like, this series is going above and beyond and really setting a staple and just kind of setting the bar of where you can take sports anime to reinvent them, but keep the core foundation of the things that people like. This episode was great, but let me know your thoughts. Like, what did you think of the match of Gearless Joe? Did you think he was going to pull out on top there, or did you really kind of fear, like, man, this guy's getting rattled, he's getting punched around, the crowd's not kind of cheering him up there? Like, where did you think the match was going to go? Because ultimately I did think he was going to win, but there are so many moments where it's like, it really was touch and go there, and I really like that. But let me know your thoughts down in that comment section below. And if you enjoyed the video, remember to leave a like, and if you're new, also be sure to subscribe. So until next time, everyone, please take care and have a good one.